This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by Lumosity. Coming up on Destructoid, Dragon Age Inquisition gets a release window, Minecraft is a PS4 launch title, and there's a whole lot of other news coming out of Gamescom, which is happening right now. All that and more right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Tuesday, Max.
Happy Tuesday, Tara. It's been I forgot it was Tuesday. We were watching those press conferences this morning, and there was so much stuff happening, and I was like, well, what are we going to do now? And I was like, we have to shoot the show. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it does feel more like a Wednesday also.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel it in my bones. But you're right, we did have a bunch of press conferences and news to come out of Gamescom this week. It's kicked off in Germany. The first one was, of course, for Microsoft, who finally released their list of launch titles for the Xbox One. This has been a long time coming. There are 23 in total, including some that we already knew about, of course, like Call of Duty Ghosts and Assassin's Creed 4, Watch Dogs, etc. We can also expect to see Dead Rising 3, Crimson Dragon, the follow-up to the Panzer Dragoon series, Loco Cycle, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Peggle 2, Zoo Tycoon, which I am unabashedly excited for, and Fighter Within, which is Ubisoft's new Kinect fighting game that I'm sure will be interesting. Anyway, there's a full list of launch games up on Destructoid.com if you want to check them out. We've also got some news about exclusive content, including an announcement for Fable Legend, Lionhead's new 4-player online co-op game where you can play as either the hero or the villain. It's another game in the Fable series. What do you want? I don't know. Ubisoft's The Division is also set to get some exclusive content for the Xbox One, along with FIFA 14, which is going to have an exclusive Ultimate Team mode available only to Xbox One users. The more exciting news there is that all Xbox One pre-orders in Europe are going to come with a free copy of FIFA 14.
And that's them going after the European market.
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually a really great deal because people there are so into FIFA. That deal only lasts while supplies last, so I don't know what that means.
They have 15 copies that they've set aside for the first 15 people who pre-order it.
Another big topic that they addressed at their conference was self-publishing for indies, which has, of course, been a hot topic lately. This is all going to be handled under their new Independent Developers at Xbox, or ID at Xbox program. Eventually, the goal here is to make it so that any Xbox One console can be used as a dev kit, so anyone can publish their own game theoretically. That's probably a long ways off, so in the meantime, all developers accepted into the ID at Xbox program are going to receive 2 free dev kits and access to all the same tools and support that current Xbox developers have, which is nice. They're also going to be able to set the wholesale price for all games they publish, while Microsoft is in charge of setting the retail price. Presumably after adding their own markup. I'm not sure what the difference is between those. We asked for a comment, and the response that we got was sort of nebulous, so it's a little up in the air still. Microsoft also made it a point to note that indie developers who publish through ID at Xbox will retain 100% control over their intellectual property, which is just good PR on their part. This full program is scheduled to launch this fall, but applications are being accepted right now at xbox.com/ID. Unfortunately, not everyone is going to be able to be accommodated for when the program launches in fall. So developers with a proven track record of shipping games on PC, console, or mobile are going to be granted first priority, and they'll slowly let people in over time. Once your games do get published, Microsoft says that they will be much easier for consumers to find. All games are going to now be displayed in the same area on the Xbox dashboard, so no separate section for indies. And there's also going to be a spotlight section that showcases editors' picks, as well as a recommendation engine for users to find new games, which is something that I think is sorely missing in the current Xbox.
That sounds promising. I'm excited to see what happens there.
I was actually pretty impressed with their showing. You know, not games-wise, but hardware-wise and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't even stream their press conference. But Microsoft they said some stuff at Gamescom, as Tara just pointed out, and that's cool. But then Sony said some other stuff. And everyone got way more excited, probably because they actually live streamed their press conference, like I was saying. There's more to talk about that way. With Sony being the sultry teases that they are, the first volley of announcements at the presser were about the PS3. That thing that's been out for 8 years. Most notably that the 12 gig model will be getting a price cut to $200, which is pretty cool if you never got a PS3 or are in the market for a cheap Blu-ray player. On top of that, Gran Turismo 6 will be hitting on December 6th, which I guess someone somewhere is excited about who really likes cars. And they also announced that Little Big Planet Hub would be coming, which is a Little Big Planet platformer free to play. It's Little Big Planet, but you buy little outfits, I guess. I don't know. That seems like something they've kind of been moving towards for a while. I'm curious to see how it pans out. Now, moving on to the exciting stuff. The PS3 wasn't the only thing to get a price cut. The PlayStation Vita has been permanently reduced to $200 as well, which is just really great news all around because I love my Vita. I'm so excited.
I don't know why, but I've been thinking it was $200 this whole time.
It was on sale at like Amazon like earlier this week.
Yeah, I heard about that. And then,
Anyway, a whole ton of Vita titles were announced. One of the biggest surprises being Borderlands 2. Which Randy Pitchford mentioned, but again, he occasionally says things, so I took it with a grain of salt. A whole lot of indie games got love too. A game called Murasaki Baby was revealed, which is a kind of Tim Burton-esque touchscreen platformer by the Italian studio Ovosonico. And then there was a huge, massive pile of indie games that were announced as cross-buy titles for the Vita and PS4, including Rogue Legacy, Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number, Vlambeer's upcoming game Wasteland Kings, Helldivers, which is from the guys who did Magicka, and then Binding of Isaac Rebirth. All of this is pretty exciting. You know, some of these have been out on PC for a while, but now they're coming out for Vita and presumably PS4. Of course, we also got to look at the remote play functionality of the Vita during a demo of Assassin's Creed 4, in which the full console game can just be played through the Vita, while your TV is being used for other presumably more boring stuff. And apparently that is a feature that's going to be available on quote-unquote almost all PS4 titles. Woo-hoo. So basically the same idea as the Wii U, except Sony actually plans on releasing games for their system. Sorry. I haven't even really talked about the PS4 stuff, and this has been going for a while. Tara, talk about something else. I'm going to rest my mouth.
Okay, I will. Moving away from the big three for a moment, EA also had a presence at Gamescom this year, so I cherry-picked a few stories from that I thought you guys might enjoy. First up, Dragon Age Inquisition has been given not quite a release date, but a release window of fall 2014, which is quite a ways off. I was expecting that a little bit earlier, so that's a little shocking. We also got a new trailer to go for that, showing off some of the game's story elements. It also includes a brand new hero and a much more open world to go with it. They talk about that in the trailer, so if you want to see that, check it out. We also got some details on Battlefield 4, whose beta is set to roll out this October. EA spent some time talking about Levolution, which is the new feature they're implementing that lets you manipulate certain aspects of maps to your advantage. Like, for example, you could cut off the power to a building and then switch to night vision. Things like that. Strategic things. They also revealed plans to include amphibious vehicles, that's a hard phrase, and a new mode called Obliteration, where a single neutral bomb will spawn in a random location, and then you can use that to destroy an enemy-held objective, which is pretty neat. Perhaps the most surprising news to come from EA had very little to do with games, actually, and everything to do with their business policies, which are a sore topic for anyone who's ever had to deal with their user support. Well, starting today, EA is going to begin offering full refunds on all digital games purchased through Origin, as long as the request for refund is submitted within 7 days of purchase, within 24 hours of launching the game, or if you pre-ordered it, within 7 days of its release date, whichever of those happens to come first. The only exclusion is that this is limited to full EA games, so things like DLC aren't going to be covered, but still, it's nice to see EA following in Microsoft's footsteps, even if the policy was admittedly shitty to begin with.
Man, that's I don't know if I see how that goes, you know?
I think, yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people will take
had some
that to a
pretty baffling experiences with Origin customer
service. They have,
Yeah.
and I could see some people just like trying to power through a game and beat it in 24 hours and then get a refund just to stick it to EA.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the PS4, because we want to talk about the PS4. Right off the bat, at Sony's press conference, we got a look at the new interface and the ability to hop in and out of games, which is sort of exciting and boring at the same time. The press conference just started off with like a dude just like sitting on a chair, and I was like, do they know the cameras are on? He's just kind of sitting there playing the game. The nice change is it's not quite the cross-media bar thing from the PS3, and it looks like it's very super responsive, so that's cool. But again, it's the kind of thing you kind of have to, use for yourself to get a feel for. But hey, it's a new thing to look at with our eyes, so that's cool. We also got to see some Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer in action, which features customizable war zones, so you can like tweak the rules of the game type and share it with your friends and shoot guns and stuff. In addition to that, we got new trailers for Infamous Second Son, as well as Watch Dogs, which, oh, by the way, is going to be turned into a feature film in a joint effort between Ubisoft and Sony Pictures. So I imagine that's really exciting for all the die-hard fans of Watch Dogs out there. You know, that game that isn't out yet. Meanwhile, Playroom, the funky iToy / PlayStation Move happy action theater type of game, will be coming pre-installed on all PS4s, though it requires a PlayStation Eye to play it, which is sold separately. Pretty sneaky, Sony. Pretty sneaky. Again, though, the really exciting stuff that was being shown off for the PS4 was more of the unusual indie content, the games and stuff that we get to look at that are new. The AAA stuff was kind of underwhelming. The Chinese Room, the studio behind Dear Esther, teased their new game Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which is a post-apocalyptic first-person adventure game running in CryEngine 3, which looks downright beautiful, and it's nice to see a post-apocalyptic game where things are just really quiet as opposed to really ruined.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tequila Works, whose last game, Deadlight, was something of a mess, revealed Rime, which looks like Ico meets Wind Waker meets Ni no Kuni, and I would like to play it soon, please. The old Amiga series, Shadow of the Beast, which apparently a lot of people, in addition to me, had never heard of before, according to Twitter. That's being rebooted, which is a game where you're like a beast, and you have shadows, presumably. Resogun is a new shoot-'em-up from the guys who did Super Stardust, and Guns of Icarus Online, which is the crazy steampunk first-person shooter where you ride around in big airships and have goggles. That'll be coming too. And then there's N++, the sequel to N+, which will be a PlayStation 4 exclusive later this winter, and I know a lot of people are really excited about that, in spite of the fact that it looks like a Flash game.
You be quiet now.
Yeah, no, I've watched friends play that game for hours.
Yeah.
I know that game is like crack.
I suck at it so bad, but it's really fun.
Anyway, the really big announcement. Minecraft is going to be a PS4 launch title. Oh, and hey, it's also coming to PS3 and Vita. So, yeah, I don't know what happened with the exclusivity deal they had with Microsoft, but
it's been exclusive on the Xbox 360 for over a year now. I'm sure it's just
there
time.
There you go. And now a whole lot of kids went out and decided they wanted PlayStation Vitas. So, Sony also announced some cool little tidbits about the PS4. It is going to have Twitch TV support, and streaming your game will be as simple as hitting the share button. And I mean, they have that in addition to Ustream, I guess, which is cool. It'd be cool to see how they implement that. You know, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if there was some schmoozing and maybe money changing hands over that. I know, because that was the big thing that Microsoft seemed to have the edge on, and then Sony's like, oh, we have Twitch too. No big deal. Yeah. Nothing major. Also, everyone who buys a PS4 will get a free 14-day trial of PlayStation Plus, which that's cool. I mean, they do that. I think they do that with PS3s anyway.
I'm pretty sure
so
they do that anyway. Maybe it's a 7-day trial or something. But
hey, that's cool. So you can check that out, get some free games, and play around with it. And then, of course, the big reason for this press conference was to announce the PlayStation 4's release date, which is November 15th in North America and November 29th in Europe. So there you go. Let's get excited. I just spouted off a whole lot of information, so if you guys want it in a more digestible format, there is a nice simple roundup over on Destructoid.com.
Yes, they have like millions of news stories about everything that's been happening at Gamescom.
It's been a busy day.
So it has been. We are going to be back in just a second, but in the meantime, I'm going to take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Lumosity. So it's no secret that Max and I are getting older, 3 years older, in fact, than when we started this show, and the mental decline has been palpable. For some of us more than others. Fortunately, being 3 years into the future means that we have all kinds of amazing technology at our hands to make us smarter and even more capable and bionic than ever before. And that is where Lumosity comes in.
Lumosity is basically like a personal trainer for your brain. It's a collection of fun mini games, all grounded in actual neuroscience that will improve your memory and attention skills over time. You can build your own customized training program and get detailed training summaries and stats to keep track of your progress and see where you need improvements. It is a great little app. It only takes a few minutes of your day to see results.
I was actually playing around with it right before our show, and over 40 million users have done the same. So what are you waiting for? Start training with Lumosity right now and discover what your brain can do. Check out lumosity.com/dtoid to get instant access, and remember, every sign up does help support the show, and you know, it promotes good brain function.
Do things with your brain.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is all for today's show. There's a lot of news. I imagine we'll have more news on Friday when we're doing a thing as well. If you guys want to keep track with what we're doing until then, we're on Twitter. I'm Max Scoville. She's Tara Longest. The show is Dtoid, Dtoid Show, and we're going to be back here for a live show on Friday. We're going to have a good time. We're going to dance around, answer questions, and wear cool shirts. I won't wear a suit this time, I promise. So head over to youtube.com/dtoid at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and maybe we will answer your dumb question about my shirt, which may or may not have turtles on it. You guys have a great week. We will see you back here on Friday.
Good night.